Armitage. In this video, we're going to take a look at what is Armitage and how to use Armitage. So what is Armitage? Armitage is a graphical user interface for Metasploit. Go ahead and start up your virtual machines of Kali Linux and Metasploitable 2 if you haven't already. And we'll go over how to use Armitage. We can start it from any terminal window by first issuing the command /etc/init.d/postgresql space start and then Armitage. Let's go ahead and try that now. This starts the database server required for Armitage to use. Next I can type in Armitage. Then we get this box that says connect. Just go ahead and click connect. And go ahead and hit yes here. Now we wait for Armitage to start up and connect to the server. You'll see we get some warnings, but the program finally starts up. I highly recommend going to help and clicking on the tutorial. This should open up a web page that gives a nice tutorial on Armitage, fast and easy hacking, which explains some of what it is and how it works. Let's do a simple run through now with Metasploitable 2. So let's go ahead and click on our hosts, and we're going to click add hosts 192.168.111.128 or whatever your IP address is for Metasploitable 2. Then click add. We get the message added one host. There it is. It shows up in this screen here. I'm going to go ahead and right click it and click scan. We're now using auxiliary modules for Nmap to scan for ports. We can also add from an Nmap scan in this drop down right here. And in this case we'll do a quick OS detection scan. So I'll type my host. You'll see here we could do this as a range as well and get multiple machines. So there you go. Nmap found these open ports on Metasploitable 2. And we get this box that says scan complete. And you'll see OS detection worked. And there's a picture of a penguin because it's a Linux operating system. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and click under attacks and find attacks. So now Armitage is querying for exploits to run against these services that it scanned on our Metasploitable 2. You'll notice from our previous enumeration and scanning in the reconnaissance phase shows a lot of these same ports that are open and their versions. Okay, now we have the message, the attack analysis is complete. You will now see an attack menu attached to each host in the target window. So if we right click on our target, we now have an attack list and we can attack these services. This is what it found for Metasploitable 2. So let's go ahead and look at FTP and let's see version 234 backdoor. I think that's what we have installed there. So I'll go ahead and click that and you'll see this box pop up. lhost stands for localhost. lport is the port we're gonna use to connect back on. You'll see here it provides some text up here about this exploit. Our host is our remote host, which is Metasploitable 2, and it's the port that it's on. We can also show advanced options here, and we can use a reverse connection meaning we will get the target to open up a connection back to us. Let's go ahead and click launch and see if this exploit is successful. So a new tab opens up. It turns out our version was 234. That's what the banner came up with. And we are now successful. You'll see the picture here has showed lightning bolts around the computer. This means that we have successfully attacked and exploited Metasploitable 2 with this exploit. We also see here command shell session 1 opened. We now have a session open. So if I right click on here, I can go to shell 1, and if I click interact, I'm now in a shell in that machine. So I can type ls to list what is in the directories that I'm in, which looks like it's the root directory. If I type in who am I, that's the command. I'm root. I have root access to Metasploitable 2. I'm in. I can now do as I will with the system as root. So if I right click on here, I can upload files to here, to that machine. I have some there's post modules I can use in here. Let's see what that's all about. I can give our exploit persistence here. There's all these modules I can use. So let's go ahead, and I want to show you, we also have this Hail Mary. Now the Hail Mary is going to go ahead and launch all those vulnerabilities that it found on this one host. And it says here, as it says here, there's nothing stealthy about this action. So hundreds of exploits could be launched against one machine, and maybe that's the only option you have left when you are penetrating a system. But just know that this may not be the sneakiest way to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and click yes. Let's see how many shells we can get on this system. So it is now querying the payloads for those exploits for Metasploitable 2. And we have this new tab, Hail Mary, finding exploits for Metasploitable 2 to use. I had paused the video briefly while we were going through all these exploits to save some time. Looks like it's just about finished. Okay, we have found 447 exploits against Metasploitable 2. And now the Hail Mary is going to go ahead and launch all these exploits. This is definitely not a quiet or sneaky action, as you can see. It looks like many exploits are on port 80 against the web server. Almost done. Okay, and now we're going to list those sessions in 25 seconds that have been opened since launching all these exploits. So if I right click now, you'll see we have shell 1. We only have one shell, which I'll go ahead and disconnect from. That was from our earlier attack. Sessions V, sessions L. FTP backdoor still there. Looks like so far all we got is the one session from FTP. We launched all those exploits, and so far we don't have any shells coming back from them yet. This would be the time that in this system I would try to gain credentials to maybe other systems and try to do something called pivoting, where I move laterally within the network that I'm trying to penetrate and gain other information and assets. Well, I encourage you to go ahead and play around with Armitage, read that tutorial. There are scripts you can use within Armitage. It's a very useful program, and it makes Metasploit easy, a lot easier to use. So as I said, when we laterally move, we would use these post modules here. There's various modules here that we can use to gain credentials. Here's one for pretty good privacy, password credentials, SSH credentials we can try to gain. Oh, there we go. There's another shell. So another shell open. So now if I type sessions-v, we'll get some information about that shell. Shell 2 that was opened, which exploit it was. Okay. Looks like shell 2 came from a PHP argument injection exploit. That's right here. Excellent. It just takes some time. Sometimes it takes time. And I can go ahead and interact with this shell. Oop. Command shell 4. We got some more opening up. 3, 4. More shells are coming in from these exploits. Okay. Excellent. Here's shell 2. So if I type in here, who am I? Okay, in shell 2, I penetrated as the user www-data, and it looks like I'm in the directory for their web server. It makes sense since that was a PHP exploit. Let me type in sessions-v, what these other shells are. Here's a miscellaneous shell, shell 3. Let's go ahead and see what kind of privileges we have on shell 3. So I'll click interact, type in who am I. Looks like I'm a daemon. So let's type ls. Not really sure what directory we're in there, but essentially I have system access. So yeah, I encourage you to go ahead and play around with Armitage. It's a great program, and along with Metasploitable 2, you can learn a lot running exploits against that. And in our next video, we're going to be looking at Aircrack NG.